The following is a presentation of TFNN.
Good evening, Tigers, and all those ships at sea. Tonight we have the preview of Art of the Chart. It's debut, so to speak. We'll be shipping shortly, and Tom will be coming in here probably a couple minutes before I'm done. We're going to kick around some questions, maybe that you guys post. They'll open up the den here in a little bit so you can type your notes, but for the first part of the presentation, they're going to keep it closed. But anyway, we're going to be looking through this. The markets can really be a gold mine when you know what you're doing, and at TFNN, we provide the knowledge of where, when, and how. Tom spent a lot of time putting together the Art of Timing the Trade, probably one of the finest trading books ever. And with Art of the Charts, we're kind of doing the same thing. Just like the miners need picks and shovels, we are adding to your toolbox out here with Art of the Chart, the follow-up to our charting programs. But really what I like to say about it is that, much like those miners out there, they had to have the picks and shovels. And this is the other part of it. You can have all the knowledge, but you really need the right tools to apply some of the things that Tom has done. Also, there are some of the things that I've worked on for many years that we've put in this product, and we're going to be debuting them tonight and talking a little bit about them. Probably the icing on the cake, the little mint on the pillow out there at the very end, we're going to be talking about scanning for Gartleys and showing Gartleys. Probably one of the most powerful new additions to our toolbox that we have out there, and the powerful, just a powerful pattern that we are trading. And basically how all these tools, including my power law vector indicator, are going to go together kind of like a nice orchestra. Just all these things playing in harmony together. We're going to talk a little bit about that. A lot of these features are brand new. They're not in any software product that I could find, and not available at any price that I could find either. So a lot of these things are very new, revolutionary, I would say, in trading, especially for our retail guys out here. It's going to save you a lot of time. It's going to save you a lot of energy. And when we get into the scans, I think you're going to see just how really powerful putting all these things together in one application is going to be. You're going to be able to get it for one low time price, and that includes the data, the upgrades, support, and if you use Tiger Dollars, you're going to get it at an unbelievable price. I'll let Tom come in and put that all together. I've been spending almost all my time putting the finished polish on this product so we can get it out to you guys, and we'll be talking about that with Tom later too. But just you should be seeing it on there, and just a caveat, we're using technology called HotCom to display it. There will be a couple of things you can't see. We're accessing a lot of the new features in Windows Vista and in Windows 7, and I've already tested it on Windows 8. There are a lot of new features that are actually used in here, and a couple of windows that I pop up I'm going to have to discuss because HotCom doesn't recognize Aero glass windows. Those are kind of like the windows that you can kind of see through, not to get too technical. But as we go through these, you'll see a lot of the custom windows out here that we have may or may not show in the HotCom. So just when I pop those up, hopefully I'll be able to look in the control room and see whether they're showing or not. But just to be sure that I'll talk about them a little bit more if you can't actually see them. HotCom apparently doesn't like semi-transparent windows and all that wonderful eye candy that we've put into this product. To start off with, Art of the Chart is a brand new from the absolute bottom written to access all the new features that are coming out and a lot of the ones that have already been there. I've written it so that you can access multiple cores for those faster and newer processors, and a lot of the controls that we have in here are very much like the same controls that you would get in the most expensive product that had a cast of thousands writing it, like Word or Excel. The first part of that is the ribbon control across the top. So if you're watching closely, the ribbon control is a way of putting a lot of controls together in a very expandable way. And one of the big design features I wanted to have in this is something that was easily changeable, at least in the graphical user interface. So the first thing I want to show out here is the ribbon control, and if I'm thinking about it, I'll go slowly enough so you see the updates in HotCom or in the on Tiger TV. But the first thing is this ribbon control across the top. It has all these tabs, and you can cycle through the tabs as we go through, and you'll see all the different controls. They're all logically organized. You can also go through that with the tilde key, which is the little squiggly line underneath the escape on most keyboards in the upper left-hand corner. There are going to be keyboard equivalents of everything that you find, or almost everything, every command. So if you use it a lot, you'll be able to use hotkeys to find just about everything. We'll go through that a little bit. But the first part is that we've got this ribbon control across the top. As Art of the Chart expands and new features and new technology comes out, it'll make it very easy for us, or at least easier for us, to add new technology. If anybody's used Excel or Word 2007, they know just how far you can extend those kind of menus. And this is basically a control that we've put in this software that is exactly like that, so we can rapidly react to new feature sets. If you look, there's two little buttons that look like little tiny arrows. One's in the upper right-hand corner of the screen, and these will allow you, let's say you're using it on a smaller laptop and you need more screen real estate. By actually popping that up, we can actually make the screen size bigger for the charts. Same thing over on the left-hand side for the stock list. We'll get into that in a minute. But it makes it real easy to go back and forth and actually make your desktop as large as possible if you're using it on smaller things like laptops. Some of the kind of the, I guess, the icing on the cake are these controls, especially across the top in the ribbon. One of the very nice things that we're going to have is you have a most recently used list where you'll be able to keep the last 15 stocks that you had. We'll talk about that in a little bit. But as you add stocks, it'll always pop on the top. The last 5 of them will always be the S&P, the NASDAQ Index 100, NYSE, Dow 30, and the Wilshires. But let's go ahead and draw a chart real quick just so we can see something. What do we got? Let's pop up Oracle because I was, see, ORCL. So we can actually look at a chart here. We have a lot of features. One of the, if you're not familiar with what we've had before, we have a feature that's automatic retracements. If you wanted to go back and look at what we have, as we go through, retracements are just that. We show the standard 318.5 and 618, actually it's a 382, and each one of these you can zoom in on. By holding down the left mouse and dragging it out, you can highlight either the top section or any of the bottom additional sections out there. We'll kind of zoom in there just a little closer so everybody can see. And give you just a second to let that come up. These tick marks will actually show you with the actual price point, like the 50% retrace point of this move in Intel is $22.37. So by easily, and actually that's automatic when you can actually see them. HotCom's giving me some fits tonight. And same thing with expansions. We're going to go to probably the second tab here to make things just a little easier. On the overlays, it's easy enough to bring up additional overlays, displaced moving average, regular moving average, Bollinger Bands, traditional moving averages, parabolic SAR. Selecting one of those will automatically bring up the sub-menus in that ribbon menu. So we can select from the 3x3, 5x7, or 25x5, or a combination of those. And once you select those, the Overlays button allows you to actually quickly turn those on and off. And if you notice while I'm hovering over these menus, you'll actually get a pop-up box. Almost every one of the controls in Art of the Chart now will have automatic help as you hover over it. Also, if you notice down at the very bottom, there'll be a shortcut to show you the keyboard equivalent down below. So if I want to turn on and off the 3x3 displaced moving averages, the easiest thing to do is hold down the control key and turn it on and off. So if you use this quite a lot, you can get very fast at turning these items on and off and seeing the results in Art of the Charts. But every single one of these, whether it's the retracements or the expansions, will have a shortcut, like retraces are Control R. If you wanted to look for gaps in a stock, we also have a gaps indicator. Let me see. Let's find something that actually has some nice gaps in it. These bars will show you where from the on the open and close untraded areas in that stock. We're watching a KL and a 10 core now, and it's pretty easy to see that you've got a gap at about $42 to $41 and about $42.50 to about $43 as it popped down and made a little island reversal back on another quick feature. Control W will bring up the ability for you to actually see and move the mouse over individual candles or bars and see the open, high, low, close, and volume for that day. So we know that that's October 20th back down there. You had that little island reversal hammer down on the 20th. Same thing as we expand in some of the indicators we have in the stock price, and that is the power law vector indicator. We're going to go into that in detail a little bit in using it, but a pretty good indication on this one. One of the other buttons out here actually turns on swing points. You'll be able to see the high and low. There's one other control that actually modifies that, and we'll get into it in a minute also. But hovering over any one of the annotations for those swing highs or swing lows will pop up a nice big one if you have poor vision like I do from staring at computer screens too long. Pretty easy to hover over that top and find out that that July 26th high was $44.60, and it had 2.1 million shares. Other things that we have happening is a wonderful little drawing tool. If you pop that up, it will actually, let me find it here, bring it up here. It's another one that you may not be able to see because it's a translucent window. Let me see if I can see it. Nope, you're not going to be able to see it, so I'm going to kind of skip that. But your drawing tools for drawing lines, circles, squares are in that. The legs control actually modifies the swing points that we have, and as you click up, you'll be adding more and more or less swing points to match what you're looking at. One of the issues I think that a lot of people should be aware of, and probably a key concept in Art of the Chart, is that of the time context. It would be the same thing as saying if you're laying in your bed at night, how many miles to my front door? It's really out of context. You're talking about feet. So as we show swing points, as we show a lot of the other indicators, as we get into Gartley patterns, are based on what you're looking at. If you're looking at a one-year chart, it's looking at how much noise is in that one-year chart, trying to figure out in the context what it should be showing you. So if you think you should see something, you might go to either a smaller time frame if you're looking for smaller indicators, and a larger time frame if you're looking for indicators that are larger. So what we have in here is a nice little number. That is the relative number, and that's the part of my power law vector indicator. I'll get into that just a little bit more as we talk about the major features. Kind of just do an overview of the absolute application of the product. We have a new feature for people that are used to using our product, and that is several time spans. But we now have a custom time span, so you can actually add a starting and an ending date if you want to go back and back test some of the features in the product. I'm hovering my mouse now over the starting and ending dates. They have a nice little time date picker in here, so you can find those for a starting and ending date. But I won't get into that right now. We'll just go back to the 1 year on KL or 10 core to turn off a couple of other features. One of the other things I wanted to talk about are, and this is special, that I added, and that is volume averaged. If you think about daily charts to weekly to monthly, sometimes there can be as few as 15 trading days in a month, and sometimes as many as 23 trading days in a month. Volume averaged only does in weekly and monthly charts. It will average by the amount of trading days. If you're comparing a month, let's say like in February, that had 15 trading days with a month, well, let's say like October, a lot of times has 22 trading days or 21 trading days, you could see that you could get a whole lot more volume in weeks and months. You'll always see a little note over here that says total volume, and let's go to a weekly chart so you can see the difference. It'll say total volume. If I say volume averaged and turn this on, you'll see that the color actually stays on. But as I redraw the chart now, it'll say volume average per frequency. So if any of those, let's say that there were 2 days that were traded during a week, and let's say it's a Thanksgiving holiday, you know that you may be missing a Monday after that where there was no trading, or a Friday, or a Christmas during that week. If there were 3 days trading on a weekly, it'll average out whatever those 3 days were. So sometimes data can get skewed because of the amount of trading days out there, and volume average will fix that for either weekly or monthly charts. Just remember that you want to look for that volume average per frequency down in the volume section, or that you want to look for the opposite of that, which is the absolute total volume for that week. If you are looking at time when you know there's vacations, maybe a good indication to see maybe where the data is skewed. One of the other options, if you want to, the timing of the art of the charts actually comes with its own data feed for end of day. But if you did want to bring data in from a third-party source, one of the new features in this is the ability to suck in comma-separated value data. So if you have something from somewhere else, normally almost all of them will allow you to export it. There's an example in there of the date formats that you need to use to get it in, but just a nice additional feature. Sometimes we're looking at charts, especially if I'm looking at my old laptop, and the chart just isn't really big enough to see a lot of things. If you click on Maximize Chart, it'll actually bring up the chart. But anyway, that'll make the chart full screen, and you can click in the upper left-hand corner of it. Pretty interesting feature, especially if you're using it on smaller monitors. Time frequency. A lot of times you want to be able to make multiple changes. The art of the charts will automatically, when you change something like from 1 year to 6 months, will automatically do a redraw. If you're changing many things at the same time, you want to probably be looking at this little lock feature. When you click it, it'll unlock. Then you can make several changes without anything happening, like back to 6-month daily. And then it will only redraw the chart when you actually click on Draw Chart. One of the other things I talked about early on is being able to zoom in. A lot of people wanted to use custom date ranges in previous products, and one of the things you really need to know is it's very easy to zoom in. So if you're looking at something tighter, hold the mouse down and just draw it out. As long as you hold it, whatever you zoom in on or highlight is what's going to be shown. At this point, if we pop up, it'll only pop up the top part, the price and volume, the price part, candlesticks. But if I wanted to look at that with any of the indicators down below, if I highlight them also, you'll be able to zoom in on those. Anywhere while you're zoomed in, you can either click on the zoom out button, or you can hold down the Z key and it'll automatically unzoom. So it makes it really quick to go back and forth into those. That pretty much covers the controls part. The overlays we talked just a little bit about, but that's pretty straightforward. If you wanted to go to, I know a lot of people like Basil's 9-day moving average. We can support up to 3 different moving average periods of any range, but pretty easy to just go ahead and put in a 9-day for that, and or any date range you want. And a lot of people were very interested in that 9-day EMA or simple, and you can certainly do that with this product. Let me get it to 9 here and go to EMA. So if you're Basil fans, you can go to that 9-day period, and by actually turning on the overlays, you'll actually see the 200-day and the 9-day EMA back into this chart. I'll zoom in a little bit better. They're a little bit faint, but you can see the line. I'm moving the mouse and pointing right at it. I'll turn off gaps real quick so you can see it just a little clearer. But we certainly have those overlays that you want for price overlays. Secondarily, we have 2 sets of indicators that go below the chart. So if you're looking at something like a rate of change or the force index or fast stochastics, or probably if you're following time, you're looking at MACD at some level. The MACD shows down below. And again, like I said, you can zoom in to all 3, or if you just wanted to zoom into the bottom part, you can highlight it. Actually have a full scale of just the MACD if you're trying to look at maybe how it moves out there. So just kind of a neat feature to be able to zoom in on any or all of those different items, or maybe just even candle bars. But kind of neat. But you can set either up to 2 of those, so MACD and maybe slow stochastics. And again, I'll blow it up here a little bit so you can actually see. But especially if you're looking at 2 different indicators, a lot of these times when you'll be looking at them, they're literally so close that it's nice to kind of be able to blow them up and actually see full scale what those different indicators are, like a slow stochastic or a MACD, and see how they're actually trending. Some of the neat things that we have in here, and again, we're only doing 8-bit video on the outfeed, so some of these things are not going to look as pretty as you would like. We have lots of different backgrounds for those. And let me give them a second. Let's see that they feed through. They're going to look somewhat nasty on 8-bit, but they are wonderful gradient background colors and highlights, making life a little easier to look at in different colors. I'm using the white background here because we are color range limited with HotCom. Again, you can change your font size. You can change your colors, and this is one of the windows I don't think is going to show up. Nope, because it is that. But we have a full color selector here with a color theme selector down underneath. Almost all these controls, like shadows on and off, or if you want to have a grid, will all have the same thing. The ability to, let me leave those up there. If you wanted to X grid or Y grid, or you want a full grid over on that. And of course, you've got a shortcut key. So even if you had that menu buried somewhere else, Control Y will bring that menu up. even if we're somewhere else. So Control Y again, and you can just move the arrow key or select with your mouse if you just wanted to have that. So a very quick, easy menu system. If you want to have accesses, a lot of times people want to get accesses for sitting next to, let me see here, or a cursor, so they can go back and forth and know which candle they're on, or for a price point, so they can see exactly where it comes at. One of the nice features is the annotations on the swing points, so pretty easy to see those and hover over them at the same time and see 46.50. And we have a price. You can either do candlesticks or bars. I learned with candlesticks. I think that they're a little easier to see, and maybe since I did so much early work with candlesticks, but bars or candlesticks are available. One of the other features that we have on this page is the price range scaling. So sometimes those get a little close to the top or bottom. If you really need to get some more dynamic range, it's easy to go ahead and change the dynamic scaling, especially when we start adding some other features that I'll show in just a little bit. Program options are pretty neat. We have a whole system to put together basically theming and our chart themes. Again, some of these are not going to look quite as good as you would want them to because of the 8-bit. But I think you'll see the colors change. So you can see some of these. But that's basically duplicated most of the themes from Windows Office products. So either the 2010 scheme or the 2007 scheme, and some nice ones if you just like some more color in your what you're looking at. But we'll go back to 2010 silver, make it look a little bit better on HotCom here. We've got a lot more support for printing these charts. Page setup window, so you can set up the actual what you're printing to in the standard size. You should be able to see those, I think. Yep. Okay. Printer settings window allows you to go ahead and set and print with a white background, print in color, or we can even print with large fonts, especially when you're printing. I found out that it's very nice to be able to go back and select large fonts, or you can actually change the image size to fill and leave more and less borders. What else do we have here? And a print preview. Hopefully we can see this. There we go. So we've got that set on letter, and that's probably not what we want. So we'll probably go to printer settings here. Let's see, page setup actually, and go to landscape. So it is a WYSIWYG print preview. There we go. And I'll try to make that just a little bit bigger so everybody can see at home. But you can print in either color or black and white, depending on what printer you have. I kind of like printing in color, but I've got a nice color laser printer. Max volume. I told you I was going to get to this a little bit later. This button will find the highest volume within 0.5% of a swing point. If we go ahead and turn that on, down at the very bottom you're going to see I'm putting my mouse down there. Volume labels are the highest volume within 0.5% of a swing point. And this is something that is mine. I like having it in there. It's a way of fuzzing up swing points. Let's say that you had something go 1 penny higher a day later, but on 1/10 the volume. I'm of the opinion, and again, I don't think this is Tom's opinion, but I'm of the opinion I like to know that maybe there was a lot of volume, just 1 penny lower that day, and maybe just take a little bit more of a conservative route at looking at those swing points. So you'll see the volumes actually change when they're that close to a high, if there was higher volume. Let me turn that off and reprint. And you'll notice that we went from 2.1 million shares to 2.3 because there was a day where it was just a couple of days earlier where you had 2.3, but it was well within 0.5% of that high or low. Just know that there'll always be a little indicator down at the bottom of the chart telling you that that was not the absolute high where the volume was, but within a half a percentage of that high. Okay. Other things we have is a wonderful preset window. That does show up. So we have the 12 F keys across the top of your keyboard can all be set with all the custom chart controls. You can set this up for each individual key out there. Beyond that, if you just want to change the time, the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 numbers on your keyboard will change just the time span of the chart. So I'll get back to that. But on this one, you can basically set up overlays and indicators for each one of these F keys. So if you have different setups that you really like, we have basically have an editor now for all those presets, and you could save them. Again, at any time, I guess since this is one of the things that's not easily noticeable, if you want to go to a 3-month time span, hit the number 1 key on your keyboard. 2 will take you to a 6-month chart, even if you're not on that ribbon control. It makes it an easy way. So almost every one of these controls has multiple ways to get to them, so that you don't have to change maybe the ribbon control or what you're looking at. But if you go to number 4, that's always going to take you to a 2-year chart. What else do we have? On program options, max volume presets server. If for any reason you should have a problem with the data, we have the option of getting 2 different servers, and normally you want to leave that at once, but we'll have a backup server if you click on number 2 there, and you can get the second server in case we don't have the primary server doing its job, kind of like the runner-up at the beauty contest. Always have a backup. One of the other cool features is a paint program. While we have some painting features in Art of the Charts, a lot of times, especially when I'm doing my newsletter, I like to do a lot of annotations that are well beyond the scope of printing or adding annotations. By selecting and clicking on this button, you can select anything. I like Snagit, but right now we have it set up for Microsoft Paint, which comes with every program, every installed version of Windows XP or Vista or any of the later ones. And if you hold down the control key and hit B, it will automatically bring up the Paint program with the chart in it. So if you want a lot more features, I like .NET Paint, or Paint.net. It's a free paint program. If I'm doing a lot of specialized things that are beyond the scope of a charting program to do for annotations, but very nice. But you can open up any of those. One of the things that I didn't show you are these little hot buttons across the top. If I want to do the same thing, since I use it so much and a nice feature, these little icons across the top, whether I want to print or I want to save the image to the disk drive, or I want to copy to the clipboard, are always up here in this little ribbon button up, just up in the upper left corner. Hopefully everybody can see them. Again, it's got the tooltip to let you know what all those do. But if I wanted to copy it to a Paint program, it's just as easy to click on that and open it back up. So kind of a neat feature out there. But whether you want to do that, whether you want to copy it to the clipboard, those are available without having to go through any of the menu controls. But at the same time, you have keyboard shortcuts with a control to get any of those. Web links. One of the neat features of Art of the Chart is a lot of times there's things that you need to know. Let's say like, let's say, when's the next FOMC meeting? I'll just do one of them here. It'll automatically pop up the Fed calendar meetings, and we know that the calendar for 2010 looks like this, or the calendar for 2012 looks like something else, but pretty straightforward. Market holidays, I'll bring that up in a second. So we can go right there, and there's the holidays for the New York Stock Exchange. We have a lot of features I actually recommend looking at summation charts. So we have some quick links to that, or the VIX chart, or a tick chart, so we can see the ticks for the day. I know Tom a lot of times talks about the high and low tick for the day. Easy way to go back and find that. If you want to find out about stock splits, market holidays, FOMC calendar days, or economic calendar, just quick links to all of those, including arms charts, some things that you don't hear about every day, but we do use on TFNN. In the help screen, we've got just the standard stuff to take you to our website and find out more about help, or automatically email me for additional information, or go to the About box to find out, hey, this is written by David White. I think he's a pretty cool guy. So that takes us through some of the standard menus. We're going to go to some of the advanced features. Wanted to talk a little bit about the Power Law Vector Indicator before we get into Gartley's and in some of the other features. One of the things I did want to show was the stock lists. We can open up any of the stock lists we want. There's about 100 categories back in here. If I wanted to find out about a particular sector, we'll say like coal. If I click it, it'll bring up all the coal stocks, and I can go to the coal stocks that I want to look at. Let's see, what is it? CNX, Consol Energy, James River Coal, which actually popped up on one of my scans today. Very interesting. So there are about 100 different, we'll go back here and give you a little bit of look here, but there's about 120 different sector lists in here, from coal to the S&P 500 to food and oil and gas, drill, rigging, field services, exploration, natural gas. I'm always interested in that. So like Apache or Anadarko, all those that may have something, or maybe that wonderful ETF that is the gift that keeps on giving, UNG, natural gas. One of the other features we have is the ability to bring in new lists, and we're going to get into Gartley's in a little minute, but we have set up a lot of stock list scans from 52-week highs to the top 100 alpha-weighted stocks, to gap downs, gap ups, CCI crossovers, point and figure triple tops, point and figure triple bottoms, 52-week lows, pretty much everything you want. If you want to import one or create a new blank list, you go to this page here, and I'm trying to look in there and see whether or not we see this in the, nope, you guys aren't going to see it because it's one of the nice Aero glass interface windows, so you're not going to see that. But one of the things I'm going to click on here is a download Gartley list. Every day we've set up a server to go and do a scan through 5,000 stocks every night and find Gartley patterns that are setting up. Every day for probably about the last couple of months, I've been sending a list to Tom as we fine-tune this to find the best chart patterns that we can find in the Gartley list. I've been showing them on my radio show probably for the last few weeks out here as we've gained confidence and found out just what we're looking for and be able to tune it and home in on the best looking charts out there. So I'll actually go to one of those lists here quickly. But if I just wanted to look at something like the top 100 stocks, if you click on that, you're probably not going to see this thing moving, but you'll see it in a second. There we go. And now I've got a top of the top 100 alpha-weighted stocks to go through. If I'm looking for stocks that are the most bullish out there or at the top, pretty good list to go through. What I did want to go through here is actually open up and find some lists that I brought in from home that are Gartley lists, and we'll go through a few of those fairly quickly. 2006. We'll go through yesterday's because I'm pretty familiar with what I wanted to look at in those. But let's get rid of a few things and clean this screen up so we can see what we're looking at. Let's see, 2 years, let's go to 1 year chart and to show Gartley. Okay, we're going to zoom in on a few of these. I think the one I wanted to look at was Oracle because it was one of the better patterns out here. But every day we're going to be going through 5,000 stocks and find those best patterns. And we'll zoom in on this one because I was showing it a little earlier. But every night after 7 o'clock, the scan should be over and you'll be able to download that list and go through and find all those stocks. And most of them will have made the D point of your Gartley in the last couple of days. So here's a good example. We've got an entire list. Actually, I had it thinned out to some other ones. But give you a good indication of, hopefully, you should be able to see that nice yellow tint that shows the Gartley part. Again, we can put a lot of these things together, and this is where it really becomes powerful. I've put the power law vector indicator on, and I've also turned on the swing button so that we can see the swings at the highs and the lows. But one of the real nice things is we've got a Gartley pattern that's about as good as it gets out here. We've got about twice the volume down. If you look at this nice little number, it's an 18 and up to a 10. And I'm just going to talk a little bit about the power law vector indicator before we finish up on Gartley's so that you'll see as we're watching these. The power law vector indicator was something I came up with because a lot of times if you tried to average volume up or down in a particular move like this, you would find out that you might have like 20 trading days down and you had 10 trading days up. There's a concept, and I want to probably talk a little bit about, and that is energy and power. Or maybe if you had a car, it's like horsepower and how much gasoline you have in the tank. If you're talking about energy and power, they are a little different. But if you had, let's say, a hose and you wanted to fill up a big swimming pool, if you have a garden hose, you may be filling it up for 2 days. Or you may have a nice fire truck, but it may only have 1,000 gallons, and you're only going to put enough in for the first 2 feet of the pool. One of the things the power law vector indicator does is look at those, both power and the energy, and the price change, and what we're going into. So it basically is a way of putting together several different things into one number so you can really look at the energy coming back up. Now, you could actually kind of look at the volume bars down below and see just the huge volume in Oracle that it had down below that low. It also has a nice, sweet, high volume low that's untested. So as we look at some of those, you start setting these up every day when you go through these Gartleys that as you download these lists, we're going to find some really nice, sweet setups like this one had. Maybe a little higher volume at the last D point here than we want, so maybe we'll look somewhere else. But you're going to be able to find the best setups and those stocks that are putting together the moves that they have. As we look at them, you're also going to see the numbers and the retraces. And I wanted to thank Tom. He's come back in here. We're going to talk a little bit more about these.
What's happening, David? How you doing, man?
Pretty good here.
Great job, man. Welcome, folks. Great to be here with you. David's done an incredible amount of work on this, folks, and we're more than happy to answer all your questions. What's interesting is that I'm having a separate meeting the last hour in my office, and of course I have the Bloomberg, right?
Right.
And this is with another financial woman in this particular case, and I was just explaining to her. I said, what's crazy? I says, I've had this Bloomberg for 15 years, man, and I have to absolutely, I was showing her. I said, this is it has as much as the Bloomberg has. That's the bottom line. I mean, it absolutely does, folks, okay? When you actually take a look at the power that's inside this, it's all there, it absolutely is all there, and it's all on one desktop. So, it's there, number one. We're going to have it available for you in probably a few weeks.
Right.
when we talk about it, as David said, there's a few things that no one has, and one of them in particular is the scanning capability, of the Gartleys, of the butterflies. What's important to understand is that the tweaking is still happening in that, number one, and number two is that what does happen is that we want to make sure that you understand how a Gartley works.
Right.
That is absolutely crucial.
And you've done a full presentation on that people can go and see, right?
They'll only go and see. If you end up, getting it out of the chart, what you'll do is you'll get the Gartley with it. That's the bottom line. And it's crucial, folks, because one of the main reasons is that you have to understand what you're out there trading. There's let me go to the. When I look at this as to the whole aspect of it, what you have, number one, is that you have a tool that is self-supporting, that puts power under you, flat out. There's no two ways about it, okay? At a cost that is very minimal. When we talk about how much of the software, we're going to have a deal at the beginning. If you're going to be interested in the software, what you're going to want to do, and it's going to be quick, but these Tiger dollars, folks, you're going to want to get them because we've set it up. The initial cost is going to be like $79 a month, but we're going to bring it down that you can actually get it for $400 for the year.
With Tiger dollars.
With Tiger dollars, okay?
So that's going to be like $30 a month.
$33 a month.
33.
$33 a month. That's what it comes down to. But you have to go buy the Tiger dollars to do it. But that's what it comes down to. That's including the data feed. That's including and it's end of the day data. And as David just said, the data feed works great. The whole thing works great. It's up to you to do the work on it. The stock lists are absolutely incredible. To go to the second question, the similar to Tim Ward's volume approach, that gets as good as you get. If you don't know the story, and plenty of folks don't know the story, Tim Ward and I, Tim taught me a huge amount in the marketplace. Tim and I had said to Tim Ward in 1997, I think, I says, hey, Tim, is there anything else out there that, we should know about? He says, all these guys, they keep talking about this Wyckoff guy. And there's this book that's $850. I said, well, where is it? He said, I never wanted to buy it. I said, you don't want to buy it? So we're together now, mind you. I call up the guy right there. I says, give me 2 of these books. I said, you send one to Ord and send one to me. So the bottom line, folks, and Robert, all of this comes from Wyckoff. I sent Tim one, I got one. So there's your answer there.
I think the big difference, just to maybe put a little bit more on that, is the problems I always found with average volume was that it wasn't good when you had 20 trading days down and you had 10 trading days up.
Right. Well,
you had to have symmetrical patterns for them to really work well. And this one, and the Power Law Vector Indicator, also puts in the price changes, factors it in as a number. So it's actually putting in multiple things together to look at the strength both up and down, and correcting for time, and putting in the value of the price and how much volume was in that same move.
Right.
So,
I'm glad you said that. I wasn't answering that question.
Oh, okay.
I didn't realize that question was in the context of the Power Law Vector. I was answering it about volume. That's all of this. Let me tell you something. You want to hear something that's even crazier? This really gets good. Do you know who taught Tim Ord the ABC structures? Do you know the story?
No, I don't.
Oh my God. Okay, hold it. Let's see this. Let's see. I want to see if anyone knows who taught Tim Ward the ABC structure. A to B equals C to D. Come on, let's see. Let me get some words out here. Come on. It is a host at TFNN.
It wouldn't be you, would it?
Nope. There you go, Sean. It's Larry Pesavento.
Okay.
Listen to this. This gets even sicker. Larry and I are together, and I'm telling Larry about the story about the Wyckoff and the thing.
Right.
I says the A to B. He says, oh yeah. He says, man, I taught Tim the A to B, the C to D.
Yeah.
Isn't that great?
That is.
It's a small world, folks. And that's, I mean, and technical analysis has been around forever.
I think someone had a question in there whether it supports XP. And I wanted to say, yes, it will run on XP for as long as Microsoft decides to continue to support it.
Okay.
Guess what today is?
What?
It's the 10th anniversary of XP shipping.
Wow. Okay.
So it's old. They're not doing any real support for it anymore.
Right.
Just know that it's going that way.
Okay.
And there's some eye candy features of this that are only going to be available in Windows 7 and Windows 8.
Yeah.
But just know that you guys are getting awful close to the end of life of Windows XP.
Unreal. Now, I want to stay on the ABC infrastructure for a second, because this gets even better, though. So Larry was telling, Tim, this goes back 35 years, 40 years, right? Mm-hmm. But the A to B equals C to D also come out of Gottlieb. That's what Larry said to me. He says, no, that's all of Gottlieb. And then he showed me, this is what he showed me. He showed me that Larry Connors went on it, that how many other systems went on the Gottlieb deal, right?
I probably forgot to bring it up, but one of the features of the chart is it does figure that mouth out for you. So it tells you if everybody's looking in the upper left-hand corner of the chart here, it's got the bearish Gartley, so you know what it is.
Yeah.
A to B, C to D ratio, 0.95. So ideally, you would like a 1-to-1, right?
I want A to B equals C to D as a 1-to-1. Yes.
Right, and it's not going to be exactly
no, but that's
the penny.
cool. No, I see what you're saying. It's a 0.95.
Right. So you're going to know exactly what it is.
Right.
You're also going to know exactly where the D target is for that Gartley pattern.
That's right.
Which is $32.12.
Yeah.
And we can easily see without going back and looking, it went to $32.95.
That's cool, man. That's huge, David.
It's really easy when I'm looking through, especially since I look through a couple hundred stocks a day.
Right.
From a lot of these scans, both the Gartleys and some of the other stuff I do.
Right.
I want to be able to instantly see whether or not I need to dig into these charts a little bit deeper.
Right.
And that's really what these scans are all about. They're about finding and honing in on where we need to be looking. They may tell you that there's gold out there, but you probably need to know where to dig.
No,
and that's really
do.
where these at.
No, absolutely. As to replacing the time and trade software, no, we're still going to support time and trade software. This is just a different product. On an annual basis, right now on an annual basis, it's $400. I mean, as to next year, who knows? Maybe it's $8,000. It depends on how many trades good trades you get. I'm only kidding. Folks. Listen, it's never. Don't worry about getting, going up exponentially. It's, that's not what this is about. This is about basically, having a good product, having it out there. And, making sure that...
you're going to be good for the year. You sign up for the year. And we're not changing the price for them if they buy it now.
Right. No,
okay,
exactly.
So that's it. And I guess another one a gentleman asked if it's a power log or power law. And it's LAW.
Yeah, law, right.
Right. The idea behind the power law, just because I didn't I'll probably do a webinar just on that one day. But But the idea is that I want to see a large change in a stock. A lot of people that listen to my radio show know that I like it when volumes get tested not on 10% lighter, but on 50% lighter. I want a huge change,
absolutely,
right?
Absolutely.
And some of the scans that we work for in my newsletter, that's what I'm looking for. But the idea behind this is it gives an easy number that works on power law. Power law is that normally 20% of your customers will be 80% of your business.
Yes.
Or 20% of of some input will actually cause 80% of the change. And so what I'm looking for in that is when you get to about a 50% change in the power law.
Right.
You have it's not just a little move, it's a really big move.
No, which is huge, no doubt. It is a license you're buying, and just to keep something clear here, too, folks. Okay, just so you understand, the quotes themselves, they don't come cheap. For the amount of money I spend on quotes per month, you wouldn't believe it. Okay, but it is a license, it's a yearly license. It is not. This is not for intraday, folks. If you're looking to trade off this intraday, you want to swing trade daily, you're gonna have a field day. And Mitch, no, probably I'm probably tied to that bloomy too. What can you do? Life is tough. I don't know. And who knows? We'll see in the future. But the bottom line is that we wanted to get you a good peek at it so you can understand the power of it. Number one, we will have. I mean, realistically, we're going to have this, out to you in about 10 days.
I'm thinking 2 weeks, but yeah, we're in that. We're in that time
2
frame.
weeks, yeah. And no, you won't be able to install it on 2 machines. No.
There's going to be an individual license for each machine.
Right.
And I think a lot of people might be asking what the...
swing trading and longer is where it's at. The thing with the 2 machines, by the way, folks, there's... What ends up happening is if you get it on a laptop, I mean, that's the bottom line, You can put it on a laptop, you can bring it anywhere you want. And you just stick your laptop and you put it right into the screens you're doing at home.
I guess some of the things that we want to talk about is it really does follow your book. And that,
big time.
And that swing, I've done a lot of testing on it. And ideally, if you want to maximize your money in swing trading,
right,
those swings that are the most powerful are going to be somewhere, in my testing, somewhere around 7 to 21 days.
Okay.
And personally, this is just my opinion, although I have taken some small trades, I don't think that the big money's in the individual fluctuations intraday.
Right.
It's in the finding a long-term trend.
There's less brain damage, too.
Right? Oh, yeah. It's just so much easier. I can go to bed at night and know that I've got something that's proven over time.
Right.
And a lot of people say, well, why do you do this? I said, what's the average of one? If you get, there's not enough really when you see those trends come in, it's like sitting out there and being a surfer. You're waiting for that perfect wave, and maybe you let 2 or 3 or so go by.
Right.
But that's a little one. That's a little one.
Right.
That's a little one. And the third one's going to be the big one, baby.
That's right.
And when you get into that swing trading and you can find all these really hot stocks that have set up very well, and you know that the volume coming up on those is very light, and you can, it's more like a sniper opposed to someone taking a machine gun, sticking it over and just spraying and playing.
It absolutely is.
So I really like that.
There's no doubt about it, So when we just recap it here just for a second, folks, okay, it has, there's nothing that technically that I can see that it doesn't have. I mean, that you can start there.
It's got everything you need to do if you follow your book.
Right. And plus, I mean, some people just like, trends. Some people like, it has all of that stuff. Whether it's MACD, stochastic. You didn't go over that stuff, though,
Yeah,
right?
I did.
Oh, great. Okay. Right. So, I mean, it has all of that. Plus. What, of course, where the power, to me comes in, no doubt, is you get the ABCs up, the ABC down, you get the scanning capabilities, and you just start firing them off. And the cost itself is pretty incredible. One
of the things that we did want to show is that when someone was asking...
It's not a Mac, right? No. No.
It's not a Mac. No, but one of the guys did have a good, interesting question, and that is watching these things show up. And what you can do, and we really didn't get into it, is that you can go from all the different ones in it. So it's pretty easy to go back and see if these things got close or when they got close. And we're still tuning exactly what we want for these parameters.
Right.
But at this point, let's say in this Oracle one, you were waiting for it to set up. When it got past this B point here, in fact, you would have seen it at this candle. So you would have known about it for 3 days if you thought that this was the one that you were going to get. So when it gets close, these things are already going to show up. And you're going to know where you want with your D target for the stock to go.
That's right.
So,
and it does all the fib retracements. We can't go over everything in an hour, folks. But what we've gone over is the newer aspects in it. They're asking if it does fib retracements.
It does. Yeah. In fact, I showed it earlier.
Right.
Maybe it came in late.
Right.
If it changed to intraday time frame, we only do end-of-day data.
Yeah.
So that's it, and I think we've answered that. You started. Were you going to explain Gartley?
No, we're not. Oh, you were going to explain Gartley? Well, no, Gartley's the guy, Robert, that Larry got the book on. Okay, this goes 1927, 1936. That's where all of this came from. Meaning the Gartley came from, the ABC structure came from, the Tim Wood structure came from, all of this. That's where it came from.
I think maybe someone was bringing up the Gartleys for like Apple.
Okay.
So you could easily see that one was delivering. That one turned into a butterfly.
Yeah.
And I think another one. And notice that I didn't have to actually put those in. They all just automatically showed up. And Gartley on IBM actually showed up. I think Larry was actually doing that one.
Right.
So we'll zoom in on that.
It's not in Tim's book. You got to get my book. He said, "Okay, I have Tim's book."
Okay.
They're different systems. Okay, I explained to you where the volume came
Now,
from.
how much is your book?
You go to Barnes and Nobles. You can get. Yeah, that's what you want to do, Robert. Go to Barnes and Nobles and get it or order it. It's $20 to $25, and you're going to get 2 workshops for $300. Okay, what is my book? The name of the book is The Art of Timing the Trade: Your Ultimate Trading Mastery System.
Yeah, you get the 2 seminars worth $300 if you buy his book at Barnes and Noble, right?
Yeah, and you got the end of the month. But we do appreciate you being here, and you know, within 2 weeks you're going to see this out there and cooking big time. And David, you know, I want to thank you, man. Amazing job.
And every day that I'm on the air, I use it and have for the last 6 months. So
that's right.
It's you're going to get some more views out of it, but a lot of these things that show up, I do cover on my show.
Yeah,
so
big time.
They are there.
Okay, folks, listen, thanks for being here. You have a great night, safe night, and always remember, whatever you think about, you bring about. Whatever you focus on grows. So everyone focus tonight on big, big money.